This is too beautiful not to share. Look at this. How amazing is that? It's much better in person. You really cannot capture the true beauty of epic things in nature and in people in reality on camera. It just doesn't translate. I first learned this when I was 12 years old at the Grand Canyon. I'd seen the Grand Canyon for years on TV, you know, in pictures. The Grand Canyon, big hole in the ground basically. I grew up in Australia, went to visit America and ended up living there a long time after that for 4 years in San Francisco, but that's a different story. But my first time in America was when I was 12. And we went to the Grand Canyon, amongst other places as well. But when I was at the Grand Canyon, I remember being awed by the epicness of its beauty. And then when we went back to the hotel we were staying at, there was a painting on the wall of the Grand Canyon. And it was just another example of how it was just this flat, two-dimensional thing. And everything I've seen of the Grand Canyon after that is, it just doesn't even do it justice. You cannot even describe its essence, the mystical beauty that comes from standing on top of the Grand Canyon. And incidentally, I almost jumped off the edge accidentally, because I was such a curious little critter that there was a rock. And if, so let's say, how do we do this? Let's say that's the edge of the Grand Canyon. My finger's the edge of the Grand Canyon. And there was a rock sticking off at it. And so what did I do? I whip all the way and went right to the edge of the rock, right to the edge of the thumb. And my tippy toes, you can see my little tippy tappies? My little tippy toes were right here at the edge. But I knew I was okay because I was being careful. And it was a solid rock, but it was only about this wide as well. It was only about, you know. And then my auntie, who was behind me, she looked up and she saw me and she screamed my name in such a loud, high-pitched, shrill voice that I went like this. Ready? Let's see if I can do this on camera. I went like this with my feet. I went, and I jumped forward. Oh my gosh. And I haven't been the same with heights ever since. So that almost happened, but fortunately didn't. Almost jumped off the edge of the Great Canyon accidentally. So life has a funny way of reminding you just how epic it is, doesn't it? Look at these waves. And no matter what you're going through, no matter how great things get, you know that there's always going to be things that come up at some point. And I find things like the ocean, nature, even just a patch of grass sometimes, hope you can hear me okay, even a patch of grass sometimes can really help to bring you back into how amazing life gets to be. Because I've been going through a bit of a hard time lately, but it's all part of the journey, isn't it? And in this hard time, I had to deal with I want to say the last leg. It really was like, I've never seen anything like it in anyone. This epic chronic pain that I've been dealing with on and off over the last decade and more, actually, decade and a half. I don't know, somewhere like that. Yeah, decade and a half. And as Dr. Bruce Lipton says, chronic pain is emotional. It really is. Your chronic pain has a voice. This is why, even though a lot of the time I was just helping people heal and manifest through my energy work, emotional healing, subconscious reprogramming, all of that sort of thing. But then they would have physical healings as well. And I found that I find healing chronic physical stuff that everyone else finds impossible, I find it the easiest to heal out of all things. Because it's just acute anxiety, acute anger, acute rage that's stored deep in your system and it's repressed. You do not even know it's there. If I say, oh, there's some repressed memory that's caused this rage that's made your womb go cramping and the doctors are telling you have to remove it. Now I've saved 2 separate women from having to have their wombs removed. I've saved them from having to be in pain every day. The doctors told them they would have to have their wombs removed, and instead they worked with me over a matter of quite a few months, and I got them connected to their womb. We do this fun, it's sort of fun while you're going through the pain of it, visualization process that transmutes the negative into positive, into love, into joy, that releases the rage, the anger, the despair, the grief. These repressed memories, the inner child work, also inner monster work, inner character work. Okay, now not many people are talking about the inner monster work, but it's very important. I actually have a tap from like 9 years ago called the Monster Tap. Before I even was so aware of any of this stuff about the monster inside of us, which is also our shadow self, which is an aspect of our inner child as well. It's all very complex and multi-layered. But, so if I was to say to you, oh, you have a repressed memory. And you're like, well, you know what, I think it might be, no, it's repressed. Yeah, oh, well, it might be, no, you do not know it's repressed. Unless you've done a lot of work already, and maybe it's something that you've worked on over and over and over again. Okay, great. Let's work on it again. Because our memories are holographic. Now, oh, who's that? So there's Garble Mate. I'm very much like him, like in the way that I heal people. My work heals people often when nothing else has worked. If you think you've tried everything, you haven't. You haven't tried me at all. Trust me, if you work with me, just like my other clients have seen, you will experience an astonishing change in your body, in your pain. Not just pain though, in like pain is on many levels. It could just be unease, overwhelm. It could be that you feel anxious in social situations. That's a type of pain, right? But people don't think of it as pain, but it's all levels of pain. And as we continue to fit ourselves into these boxes, hello doggy, doggy, doggy. Hi. Hello. Doggy, 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 doggy. As we continue to fit ourselves into these boxes, like, oh, I can't speak up because that'd be wrong, or oh, I always have to do this, otherwise this will fall apart. Oh, it's like too big to do that because I'm just not good enough. Whatever your repeated pattern story is, it literally doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that every person has a story. Now, I work with the change makers, visionaries, spiritual entrepreneurs. I work with those of you that are called to greatness. You are probably already either helping people or running your own business in some way, or select few are climbing the corporate ladder. I've had clients, you know, in top level positions in corporate companies and things like that. But at the same time, most of my clients are usually entrepreneurs, but you know, it's not like I will rule you out if you're in corporate. That's completely okay too, as long as you have a spiritual heart and you understand that there's more to the universe than just you and me here, and that there's good in the world, and that we can transmute negative into positive, and you believe in the power of the mind. You believe that yes, we can create a reality, but you're also open to the possibility that there's a higher power guiding us, which is God or divine, infinite spirit. Even if you think of it as the universe, it doesn't matter. I can help you if you're the type of person that you are just ready for immense change. Now, because of what I've been going through, it's actually, did you know, okay, I'm going to confess something to you. I have to look at these waves. Look at that. So years and years ago, so I've been doing this professionally for about 12 years, and then a good couple of years or so into it, I started doing really well in business. But because, and I didn't know any of this until recently with the hard time I've been going through, and I've been doing sessions that I created 8 years ago that I didn't even think related to me because I thought it was sort of different. I'll explain it in a second if you care to know, that are helping me now, because it's really hard for me to find someone to hold me through my healing like I can hold others. Like, a lot of people have actually said the words, everyone needs a Kai in their life. You know, I'm Kai Clifford, your spiritual guided energy alchemist, because I've experienced such deep PTSD, trauma, insecurity, health issues that I've overcome time and time again. I've transcended. I've no longer got trauma triggers. I no longer insecurely freak out. I no longer have an attachment disorder. I no longer can't even handle the way people, I couldn't handle people even looking at me if I thought I was a little bit overweight when I was much smaller than I am now. I would be so embarrassed, and I would still show up online a lot of the time, but I'd feel so embarrassed and freaked out by it. It took me years to overcome that. My point for saying this is that the greater the mission, the more mess we sign up in our soul contracts to go through. And it can make people disrespect us and discount us and cast us aside because they can't see the Christ within us or the loving infinite being within us when they sometimes hear how messy our mess is. But the more darkness a person has to go through, the more so this is from, I think, Napoleon Hill, or one of those great writers, where he says, I think it's like in The Master Key of Riches, which is a really great book. They talk about going the extra mile. Really great book, The Master Key of Riches I think it's by Napoleon Hill. Is it? Anyway. Whew. Okay, so I've got a lot of threads going on here. What was I saying? Oh no, I went too far. Okay, so. Oh yes. Okay, for as much darkness that a person has, and you look at them and you go, oh, they're a lost cause. Oh, look at her, she just flipped out. Oh, look at that, she's on death's door. Oh, look at that, she's a narcissist or a pushover, or whichever side of the spectrum you're on. She'll never get out of this. You don't know. You don't know what is in a person's heart and soul and destiny. And all these things, every single thing I just named, I went through and I've transcended. And yes, I really want you to be able to see the waves here. Okay, so let me tell you, the seed. So Napoleon Hill, Master Key of Riches. The deeper the darkness, if you go really deep darkness, like people just up here, I have a like neat, pretty life. Look at me, I'm so good. You know, so I could judge people who are all the way down here. Well, that's great. But they could always also be in a problem for their entire life because it's not that painful to get off. Like the dog that's lying on the nail and keeps complaining, and then the stranger walking by says, why is your dog groaning? The farmer says, because the dog's laying on a nail. Why doesn't he get off? Because it's not too bad, he can just put up with it. Well, that's what happens. And so when you get taken to these really dark places, there's a seed, and the seed's all the way up here. It's called the equivalent seed. The equivalent seed for greatness. The darker you go, the greater the seed for greatness is. Okay? So, yeah. And so because I've been through so many dark things, it's been really hard for me to find someone that can hold me through what I've been through. But not just that, it's because I've been through so many dark things, I've become such a gifted and skilled healer. Like I literally, with help from another, I literally healed myself from a chronic lung disease that almost killed me. I was on death's door from walking pneumonia, bronchitis. I had this thing for years, and it was coughing hours every day, like excruciating pain. The moment I woke up, I would wake up in paralyzed, terrified fear, I swear to you, because the moment I moved, I knew I'd be flung up in excruciating agony, coughing in pain for an hour, 40 minutes an hour. I would cough 8 hours of the day. And it was just awful. And I healed myself from it naturally. Things that people say is impossible to do through the energy work that I share with others. And incidentally, I had an amazing client who came to me for business stuff, to overcome visibility fears, which we helped her with. She had these big blocks about signing up for a specific course she needed to do for a business, that she was scared of being seen. And I helped her do it. She really got out there and she got things going. But in the process, I also asked her, do you have any physical pain? And she said, well, actually, she had stomach spasms for 4 years. 4 long. Imagine if every single night when you went to bed, you couldn't lay down, because if you did, you'd be sent into these massively painful stomach spasms, which meant that she had this acid reflux. Imagine if you had 24/7 acid reflux that wouldn't stop, right? You couldn't even leave the house because you'd immediately go into these jerky stomach spasm things, get this acid reflux, and you went to the doctors, they couldn't help you, you were sent home. 4 years, it ruined her life. Within, I think, 4 months of not only helping her in business, working on her stomach spasms, I healed them to the point that after about 3.5 months, we didn't see each other for 2 weeks. And when we came back after the 2-week break, because I think we were doing weekly sessions pretty much mostly up until then, and kids just giving me some like staring me down, don't look at my pants or something, who cares? What was I saying? Yeah. So we healed her stomach spasms. Oh yeah, that's right. After 2 weeks, she came back to me. And I swear to you, this is the most coolest thing ever. And this has happened for multiple clients. I said to her, listen, I said to her, how are your stomach spasms? And she made this face, oh, I forgot about them. Okay, you could not imagine, this isn't being condescending, but just how powerful it is to have something every single day for 4 freaking years that you thought was incurable, that was ruining your life, that was extremely painful, to one day just be gone and you forget about it. Hello, you forget it was even there. This is what happens. And in the process, what do you think happens when you heal your chronic pain? When you heal even emotional anxiety or things like that? Dogs. You have so much more energy to put into your business, to put into your mission, to put into helping people or whatever it is that you do. Because the chronic pain is emotional. She had a whole story of guilt and not deserving things and feeling like she was always, just the whole thing. It wasn't because she had stomach spasms. The stomach spasms were a symptom of a deeper issue. Do you see? How exciting is this? Now, this is something that I want everyone to know these stories. Now, I think I might have left some threads unwoven. Like, I know I started a few different stories, went off in some directions, but if I did and you want to know the ending to them, just remind me in the comments. Please repost, please share this. The way people find me is through referrals for the most part, and through, what's the other thing? Reposting, sharing. Like that lady with stomach spasms. And not only that, I also helped her heal her child of tics. Not parasite tics, but nervous tics. And she went to a doctor after, even while we were working together, she was like traipsing around to different doctors for long before we met. One session with me, her, the mum, and him, the 10-year-old boy. And that was the last session, that was actually the last session she had with me. And she reported back afterwards that his tics are gone, because I know how to go with it instead of trying to suppress it. The way out is through. The way out is through. And that is a very deep and meaningful, complex sentence. It has so much meaning to it that could take a whole book to describe. It's a philosophy and a way of life and a healing method. The way out is through. If you're going through hell, keep going. That's why in the healing journey, You don't just like start healing and everything gets better. It's like, no, it's like decluttering your house. You're going to unpack your closet. And then you're going to look at the mess on the floor and you're going to go, oh, why is all this mess on the floor? Oh, now I have to put it all back. Now I have to figure out where it all goes. Now I have to know what to do with it. Now that's where I come in. Like, I'm not a good organizer. It actually stresses me out. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends. But what I am a good organizer of are your emotions, your psychology, your mental health, your body, your well-being. I just know how to heal people. Now this is why, oh yeah, that's right, one of the threads I started. So the guilt wound, oh that's right. So I had this wound for over the years. I had this successful business, but then because I knew how impactful my work was, and I knew how much it had saved my life, that when I worked with clients, if they didn't want to continue with me, I would just keep reducing the prices so they would. Oh, it makes me want to cry. But I would do this because I cared about the money as well on a human level, but it was so much more than that. I just knew that I just felt so committed to every person. This isn't just a job for me. Here I go, crying on camera again. Gotta wear my glasses. This isn't just a job for me. When I was almost dying, multiple times actually, but when I was almost dying that one time from the chronic lung disease, and then my life was saved through this energy work. And around the same time, when my life was sort of metaphorically in a way saved from the PTSD and crippling anxiety that I had, I made this deep promise that I would help as many people as possible because I was living in a nightmare. And now I've actually got a pretty strong nervous system, and I'm going through a lot at the moment. And I tell you, I am coping with it extremely well. Like me 2 years ago even would have crumbled at the pressure I've been through. This is what happens when you do your spiritual work over the years. You become strong and able to handle things. So my point is that I felt so indebted to my clients. Like I always felt like, I know I can heal you. That I would just reduce my weight rates so that they would keep working with me. And it wasn't for the money as such, even though it's complicated because it was how I was making my money. And then the more I'd reduce my rates and the more sessions I'd have, the less energy I'd have. I mean, even though the work gave me energy, it's still, it's a whole thing. But it was worth it. I'm not going to do it going forward. But for the results I got my clients and the miracles that I manifested in their lives, even at the detriment to myself, that's just a bit embarrassing. At least I now know, and at least I've done it, and I've changed lives. You have to hear these stories. You have to listen to my clients' testimonials. They are things that I've not even been able to do for myself. I have done some great things for myself, but I don't have a Kai in my life, like they do. I have to watch Aurora's testimonial, the client that came to me in extreme chronic pain, agoraphobia. She had all of it. She had anxiety. She couldn't even leave her family, her mother and sisters, for an irrational fear that something bad would happen. She was, as she said, a shell of a person. As she said, she couldn't even move or feed herself. And now you see her in our video testimonial, which I guess I could probably link in with this, or just find it or ask me for it. Just go to my YouTube channel, or it's everywhere really that I am. Because she speaks so well for me. And she tells her story. People just care about the business results, don't they? Her Instagram blew up from 350 to 35,000 followers while we're working together. And I'm sort of still tearful now because it's all emotional thing for me. But I'm just so grateful that I got to do this because her business blew up went from non-existent to now her problem is that she's drowning in orders and having to deal with the overwhelm of having too many orders. Now that's the next level problem that we work through, right? But in the process, her chronic pain, gone. We talk to it. We talk to it in a child, in a monster, in a character. It's a whole thing. We went deep into her subconscious and connected her with the divine realm, with God, with infinite spirit. Doesn't matter which words you like. And she is the most brightest, beautiful, shiniest, fairy-like lady you have ever met. So many stories I could go through. You know, client that she came to me only because she thought she'd tried everything. So many of my clients have said that. And guess what? I put some comment on a post because I was doing some case study at a reduced price. So that, you know, because I needed to get these, because I need to get the testimonials in, the experiences in, the proof in, but also just because I really want to help people, right? And I have helped a lot. But she came to me because she couldn't, nothing was working. She was literally, as she says, watch a testimonial, she did a video testimonial for me, screaming on the floor in agony, unable to get up. She had to quit her job, her relationship suffered, she was depressed. It was from doing it, she thought it was from doing a squat. Let's say it was, the pain was activated when she was doing a squat. And she worked with me for like 6 months and we healed her back pain. And she got a new job and her relationship improved. And the job she got was better and she loves it and she got a new lease on life. And so if you want to blow up your business and heal your mental health and physical health, if you have physical issues, you don't have to have physical issues to work with me, but if you do, you've hit the jackpot literally by meeting me and signing up with me. Okay, so then back to finish the story, the guilt wound that I had. So yeah, I had this guilt wound for charging money for healing because I know it's such an important thing. And that's part of the chronic pain that took me out all those times. Every time I said yes to rising to a new level and charging what I know my services are worth, they're even worth way more than I've ever even charged for them. Like, and the chronic pain, because it's deep in your subconscious. And I had, it was such a painful journey. My husband wanted to take me to the hospital and I was like, don't you dare, like, take me to that brightly horrible lit place when I'm here in my healing haven, writhing around in agony, literally screaming, but also doing shadow work, somatic work, like inventing literally like new sort of healing methods to uncoil the pain. It was like 10 days, I think. It was really excruciating. It was just recent. And it was all about stepping into that new level of visibility and overcoming that guilt wound that I have for charging money, or I have had, which I would say to my clients, for charging money for healing, even though I know my magic is what some people need and nothing else will work for them. Oh, the doggy's back. Hello, doggy. Oh, hello. Hello. No, he's not a pattern dog. There he is. Okay, so that brings me around to my original point that opened up these threads. I think I got them all, which is that I'm limiting my one-to-one work now because I open myself up to so much of it because I love it. I love it so much. As you can see, I'm literally crying my eyes out about it. But now I'm going to limit it and I'm really going to focus on the group programs. I'm going to own the value of my work. I mean, I always have owned it, but as I said, I've always been such a people pleaser when it came to my pricing because I just knew that I could help these people and that if they would just do it, they would see, and then they saw, and then they would cry their eyes out to me about how grateful they were because their whole entire lives had changed. But then sometimes, and I'm sorry, and I love every single person and I have no regrets and no resentment at all, just dealing with what's coming up now that I'm realizing it was all unconscious, that it would often leave me depleted because I was still suffering to pay the bills because I was giving it away cheap as chips. Not always, but it would always end up there because I would just want them to keep going, and I would just do anything I could to help them keep going. Oh my God, this ended up to a real confessional. So gorgeouses. I only have 2 one-to-one spots. And they're going to be powerful and magical. What is your problem that you're working through in life? Okay, what is your problem? If you could have 1 or 2 or 3 things fixed in your life right now, please would you think of what they are? And what would you like, and if you could have a solution, what would the solution be? Please think of what that is. Now, I'm a solutions person. I'm a magic maker. I'm a change maker. I'm a visionary. Whatever your problem is, we will heal it. And you might think, oh yeah, but not mine, I'm different. No, you're not. If you are called to greatness and you want a quantum leap, I can help you do it. And not some big authority, perfect figure, but as someone that I have healed a myriad, like countless things, so many in myself, multiple things in myself, and in many, many others. I've replicated this over and over and over again. And everyone that works with me, they have big miraculous things happen. You just got to put in the hours. It's just like learning to play the piano or learning a language or going to the gym to lose weight or build muscle. Yes, it takes some effort. Yes, it has to become a part of your lifestyle. But the transformation that you get. I mean, I couldn't even be on camera at one stage. I would freeze like a little deer. I mean, I couldn't have cried on camera. I mean, I cried just the thought of being on camera. And that was all because of the energy work combined with the action work. So I don't just teach you sit there and manifest. Yes, we can do that. But then it's also guided action, connecting to the higher power, connecting to your higher self or the Holy Spirit, whichever way you want to see it. So I also have some group things coming up. I have a cool free event coming up really soon. I cannot wait to tell you about it. Look around for it. Send me a message and ask me about it. And let me know what have your highlights, thoughts, or takeaways been. If you're watching this and I'm someone that's personally affected your life, whether it's through a healing session or through healing to my work or doing one of my workshops or something I've said in one of my videos, it would mean a lot to me if you would share that I've had some impact in your life and help other people see that you're actually there. Because over the years I've grown followings, but because I was doing this as I was healing my own mental health issues, my own physical issues, all the way through. I didn't just wait till I was ready. No, and I didn't need to, because I was getting people way better results than I was getting myself, even though I was still getting myself some great things along the way, that's for sure. Like, especially in the 11th hour type situations for myself, but for my clients, because they have a client in their life. And my method is magic. It goes so deep and it's so powerful and enthusiastic and laser focused. And I know psychology and I know how the universe works. And when you work with me, you quantum leap. Did I say what I was saying? I think I did. I think I forgot it too. Okay, gorgeous. What was I saying? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please share this. DM it to a friend, a spiritual entrepreneur, change maker, someone who loves healing. Tell them that you have to follow this wondrous lady who's had this miraculous healing journey and has helped people heal around the world. Get the word out if you want. Message me about working with me if you want. There's only 2 one-to-one spots, and I mean that. And I will soon be raising I've just raised my prices recently, like up from, because as I said, I kept reducing my prices and then it just went this whole spiral, and now I'm back into the packages again, because the more I reduce my prices, the less emotional space I had to give my clients. And so it was this whole, it just didn't, I mean, it worked for my clients, but it didn't work for me very well. So what I need to do now is reset and just understand that I've paid off some karma clearly by because in my past lives I know that I was a real taker, and even in my, even if you don't believe in past lives, in my early life up until I was 22, I was a real taker. And then I had a spiritual experience which transformed me. Look at that. Whoop, that's wet. And so I'm 42 now, and I've been on the spiritual path for 20 years. Energy healing, well, actually, energy healing for 14 years, 12 professionally, but before that, I was energy healing people anyway. I just didn't know that I do these energy healings called healing breath massage. People have these big spiritual experiences from them before I knew I was a healer. So anyway, I've always been a healer before I knew I was a healer. But now I only have 2 one-to-one spots. Get in now before the prices do eventually go up, because I am going to have to put the prices up because my work is so powerful and so profound, and the amount of energy and presence and love and care and skill and effectiveness and results that I put into my work, it has to be at a higher level. I just can't continue doing what I was doing. And I think also the type of person who is really ready for the profound change is willing to pay a higher level amount. And I know that sucks for the people who can't afford it, but I mean, I've invested thousands and thousands and thousands into my energy healing with my original teacher, Sonia Sophia, who really taught me the basis of the method that I've developed upon. And I spent the last of my money with her many times, and it always came back to me in many ways, not just monetarily, but experientially and quality of life. It was always worth it. So I'm choosing to trust, and I can't wait. I've got loads of free stuff, loads of low cost stuff, but my one-to-one access is going to be a lot harder to access now. I still am going to do it. Trust me, I love it. It's my favorite thing, but just with less people, more committed people. So if you feel resonation from this and you want to work with someone that truly can hold you through the most painful places and turn it into light and love and joy and bliss, send me a message and let's chat. No pressure chat. I do not work with people that don't want to work with me. I'm repelled by that. Okay? If you don't want to work with me, don't work with me. But let's have a talk about it. Let me see. If you just have some like little blocks about, well, I don't know if I have the time. It's like, yes, you have the time. It's like, let me tell you why. Okay? But I'm not going to try to convince you as such. So if you want to do it, let me know. If you want to join one of my free offerings that I've got coming up, let me know. I love the water. Ocean. Okay. I'm Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And for those of you that do comment or send me a message or post on your profile and tag me about how I've helped you in your life, it means the world to me.